Hello and welcome back to Hop to the Top. Hope you're all doing well today, and boy do we have some things to talk about in today's episode. First of all, we'll go over the basics. We've got 3 games coming up for you. We've got Lausanne in the Swiss Super League, but we've also got our Europa League first knockout round game, and we've been given a pretty tough draw actually. We're taking on Sevilla in this one, so that's going to be difficult. Before we get into that though, we need to talk about transfers. Obviously we have had the January or the winter transfer window, and a lot's happened. So in last episode, there was a lot of hype around Matthew Bottles. PSG were interested. Neymar had come out and said, Bottles, come to PSG, come and join us. At this point, I was pretty much expecting Bottles to be going to PSG for upwards of 60, maybe around 80 million pounds. We also had news articles saying that people were interested in Kalas for about 20 million and Randy Schneider for 25 million pounds. I decided in the end that actually, if bids came in for those players, I wasn't going to sell them because they are Swiss players and we want to try and keep a core Swiss player core around the squad essentially. Lots of bids came in for Sterigu as well, and again he's Swiss, wanted to keep him at the club as well, also because he is our best centre back as well. So I was sort of just expecting Bottles to leave. That was the only player I thought was going to leave, and I thought we'd get somewhere between 80 to 60 million pounds for him. So thinking this was going to happen, I spent 60 to 80 million pounds. So the 80 to 60 million pounds was spent. The issue was no bid came in for Matthew Bottles. One bid actually from Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund offered 16 million pounds. I rejected that. PSG never put a bid in. That was the only offer came in, was that one from Borussia Dortmund for 16 million. I said no to it. No other deal came in for Matthew Bottles. And so I'd spent 60 to 80 million pounds and we hadn't made 60 to 80 million pounds. So you can see there's a bit of an issue there financially for us. We're actually still in the positives. If we look at the money, we're still 17 million pounds in the good because most of the 2 players that I've brought in for lots of money, a lot of the transfer budget, or a lot of the transfer fee, is to be spent in the future. So he's paid like half up front, the other half is going to be in the future at different intervals. So that's going to affect our future transfer budgets, unfortunately, a little bit. But these 2 players, they are very, very good. I must say, though, to help finance this, Jordan Boone has left the club. He's gone to Stuttgart for £3.5 million, already playing really well for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. It's a bit of a cheap deal, I've got to say, but no one else wanted to bid money for him. At one point, Leeds United, a few seasons ago, bid £10 million for Jordan Boone. We accepted, but Boone rejected the contract. He's now accepted Stuttgart for a big price deficit there compared to the £10 million that Leeds offered, maybe around the 23-24 season, something like that. Either way, he's gone and we've made a bit of profit on him, which is good, alongside one other player, and that player is Augusto, which I think a few of you might be quite upset about, because Augusto, again, he's been here for quite some time, signed for £1.6 million from River, has gone to Real San Sebastian for £7.5 million, which is quite a big chunk of money, I've got to say, but for a 3-star current ability player who was getting the game time, and to be fair, playing quite well, but we wanted to improve. We had to get better players in, and we've done that with not just one player, but 2 players. So if we look at the transfer screen, you'll notice we've brought 2 players in right at the bottom here. One for £42 million and one for £34 million. I did spend the Bottles money thinking that we'd get that money back, but we haven't got that money back. So we've got to live with the consequences. I say consequences. They are both fantastic players. And we'll start off with this guy called Cedric Marget. However, we're not going to call him Cedric Marget for long. Now, because the youth intake this season is going to be absolutely terrible from what we've been told so far, I said to people on the Patreon, look, we've brought essentially 2 wonder kids into the club. Would you rather have a renamed wonder kid like this than a regen a few months down the line or something like that when we actually get some good ones? So 2 people took me up on the offer. So it's not Cedric Marget. Forget that completely. Thank you very much to Ross McQuaid for your donations. And I hope you're going to enjoy being the centre-back here at Grasshoppers. This chap, though, looks pretty incredible. He's a 21-year-old centre-back with 3-star current ability and 5-star potential. Crucially, 20 determination. That is absolutely... That's just mind-boggling, That's fantastic. Driven personality as well, which is fantastic. Left foot, crucially, as well, so you can play him on the left-hand side of defence. As you can see from his technical attributes, where they matter, they are fantastic. His physicals are very good, but the mentals are definitely the ones that stand out especially. So, welcome, Ross McQuaid. You've come in from PSG for £42.5 million. It's a lot of money, but the average rating so far is justifying that cost, I've got to say. The second signing that we have made is Laruto Bogoa from Roma for £34 million. He's Argentinian, but of course, he's not going to be called Laruto for much longer because another Patreon has come in. So thank you very much to Harry Bunce for obviously donating the Patreon and being a fantastic sport. Because he's Argentinian and Harry Bunce isn't the most Argentinian name in the world, I just said, how about we call you Haroldinho? And he was like, yes, Haroldinho is absolutely perfect. So Haroldinho Bunce is our new centre-back alongside Ross McQuaid. You love to see it. Thank you very much, Haroldinho. I'm calling you Haroldinho now. Thank you, Harry, for being a good sport, being called Haroldinho. But you are also a fantastic player. Centre-back as well. 3-star current ability, 5-star of potential. Determination only off 15, but that's still very good. Mentals are, I think, slightly better actually across the board, really. Again, technicals are really, really good, and physicals are fantastic as well. So, again, another fantastic centre-back coming in. And alongside Sterigu, who is actually better than both of them at the moment at current ability. But the three of them will rotate nicely. And I think we will have some of the best centre-backs in all of Europe, I reckon. And the thing is, they are so well matched as well, because I was looking at them, I put bids in for both of them, thinking I'll sign one of them, but they were so good, I couldn't really decide who I wanted or which one was better, so I thought I'd just go for them both, thinking that, oh, we're selling Bottles anyway, we can get the money. We had a replacement signed up for Bottles, so he was only going to sign for £3.4 million, but that was relying on Bottles leaving the club, because after I bought these two players, we had no money left in the transfer budget. The board wouldn't give me any more transfer budget, so even if I wanted to sign that player for £3.4 million, we actually couldn't afford it. We can't have the money in the club, so we had to cancel that one, although we have got Bottles still, so that's probably a win-win, really. Either way, it's taken me a while to get through it, but two fantastic centre-backs have joined the club. I think this takes us to the next level, in my opinion. And so, of course, hopefully, the next level is going to be beating Seville and going all the way in the Europa League. I think we've got such a solid defence now, you can't really look past us. Now, of course, there are 3 Swiss clubs playing in the Europa League right now. So Basel have got a tough draw with Fenerbahce, and then Lausanne have got a tough draw with Southampton. Of course, we've got a tough draw with Seville. So it's going to be very tough to see all 3 Swiss clubs going through. I think Basel will maybe beat Fenerbahce. It's going to be close between us and Seville, but I think Southampton will probably overcome Lausanne, unfortunately. In the Europa League 2, Lausanne have got Freiburg, and again, that's a tough one for Lausanne, so I assume Freiburg will probably win that one and go through. Anyway, focusing on us, it's obviously a tough game against Seville, and it's going to be even tougher because we've got 4 players out for this game who are first-team regulars, I would say. So, it's not great. Sterigu and Cruz both suspended, Bernard suspended, and Billy Schmidt's injured. So, what it means is we've got to bring Breton on for Felipe Cruz at right back. It means that we've got to start Haroldinho Bunce alongside Ross McQuaid at the centre-back position. Haroldinho Bunce can play with the right foot, which is good, so he's all right on that right-hand side. We have to bring on Capitino for Billy Schmidt, and then Bernard's got to come off for Tim Wright. So, we've got 2 young players here, Tim Wright and Breton, that perhaps aren't 100% ready for a Seville game, but it's the best team that we've got. So, Calas in goal with a backline of Guardado, Breton, and then, of course, the new signings, Ross McQuaid and Haroldinho Bunce. Bernardo and Schneider in that midfield with Tim Wright, Alex Smith and Capitino on the wings, and then Matthew Bottles leading the line, who has scored some goals in between episodes, and I haven't gone through what happened in between episodes, have I? That is something that I need to do. I'm just too excited to get into the Seville game, just far too excited. You were last here, of course, for the loss to Young Boys and the win against Chelsea. We then finished off the first half of the season with a 3-1 win over Lugano with Bernard and Bernardo scoring the goals in that game. Both Bernards, pretty confusing then all of a sudden. But yeah, good win for us there. We then had some friendlies over winter break. We then came back after winter break, played against Lausanne, won 5-1. Bottles scored 4 of them, and Alex Smith got the other one. Interestingly, I got another message after Bottles scored 4 saying, Bottles have scored the most goals for Grasshoppers in a single game since Sukachev scored a hat-trick. So I'm starting to think that's a bit of a bug. And actually, we have had players score 4 goals before, not just Alex Smith and Bottles and things like that. We played another friendly after that because we had some players that need to play games. But then we got back into the league structure, winning 3-0 against St. Gallen. Bernard with 2 and Tony Cruz with 1. A 3-1 victory over Criens. Alex Smith, Bottles and Haroldinho Bunce scoring the goals in that one. And then, for some bizarre reason, we had Criens straight away afterwards again. This time, Bottles with a hat-trick in another 3-1 victory. But last time out, a bit of a rotated lineup, only managed a 0-0 draw with Sion. So we are still far and away at the top of the table by 6 points ahead of Young Boys. All looking pretty good for us right there, so nothing to really worry about. We're still doing fantastic in the league. So then kickoff is upon us here today, away to Seville in this first leg, interestingly. So hopefully we can pick up an away goal or two to help us out in the second leg, of course. Now, we're playing Seville in the first knockout round. And obviously, if you win the Europa League group, you go to the second knockout round. So obviously, Seville came second in their group, which means that perhaps they're not... Oh, we came very close there. Do you see that hit the post? What it means is perhaps Seville aren't quite as good as we are making them out to be. Perhaps they're more of a second-rate side rather than a top side, as you would imagine they are in real life. As we've carved out another amazing opportunity there, and that's the second time we've hit the woodwork from... This time, Cappuccino doing that. Twice we've hit the woodwork now. Are we going to regret that come the end of the game when we lose like 3-0 now or something like that? We could have had 2 away goals if we'd been a bit more clinical. I don't know. Alex Smith coming forward on the ball right now into Tim Wright. Are we going to have a third big opportunity here as Guardado on the ball? Can he put it across the middle? He does. Alex Smith there blocked. Unfortunately, that was almost a certain goal. That wasn't going to be blocked, unfortunately. And Seville counter-attacking now. Munir on the ball. Geraldinho Bunce can't get there. Huge save from Calas, though. That was big. Now, a true test to see if Geraldinho Bunce and Ross McQuaid really... Oh, for goodness sake. A goal for Seville? That's really frustrated me. Okay, right. Geraldinho Bunce, you're highlighted there, so that means you probably did something wrong in the build-up to that goal. Sorry to single you out. Yeah, he missed his header completely. He jumped far too late. Either way, as I was saying, the real test to see if Geraldinho Bunce and Ross McQuaid can assimilate into the squad is if they can pick up some red cards and yellow cards in today's game. That would be, I mean, obviously not great, but it would mean that they are fully integrated into the squad if they can do that, because everyone in our squad seems to pick up yellow cards and red cards on the regular, especially in defence, as Tim Wright wins the ball back for us. Schneider on the ball, shoots from distance, and what a banging goal that is. 8th of the season for Randy Schneider, levelling things up on the 40-minute mark. You love to see it. Let's watch this again, because that was an incredible goal, I've got to say. Poor clearance, really. And Tim Wright doing well to win the interception. Bernardo picks out Schneider. One touch. Bang. Top corner. That is sublime. So the midfield partnership working out very nicely. The issue is no one else playing particularly well at the moment. Luckily for us, Seville aren't playing particularly well at the moment either, I don't think. So we're going to go in at half-time. Aggressively, not happy performance out there for the most part. Everyone looks fired up by that, which is good to see. So fingers crossed in the second half. If we can just edge... I mean, a draw would be good, because we've got the home leg, and obviously we'll be the favourites for the home leg. But if we can get another away goal, that obviously cements things in our favour a little bit more. So Ross McQuaid on the ball then, hoofing it up towards Bottles, who can't win it, but Paolo Bernardo collects that loose ball there as he plays it into Tim Wright. Tim Wright into Bottles. Bottles back to Tim Wright. Get it out wide, or take it on yourself even. Or out wide again. Guardado, can he get this in the middle? He does, and it's onto the head of Bottles. Cappuccino gets the rebound of his first shot, which was saved in the back of the net. We are 2-1 up against Seville now, in the driving seat in this tie as it stands right now. 4th of the season for Capitanio, which I feel like I've been saying it wrong, haven't I? Capitanio. I've been saying Capitanio. I'm going to say it however I want to say it, because I've said it wrong so many times now. You have to get used to it, obviously, but... I've probably said so many names wrong, to be fair. You're used to me just saying things wrong. Right, another highlight. Seville on the ball this time, though, looking to try and get themselves back into today's game, looking to build from the back. Schneider with a great interception there. Alex Smith into Bottles. Bottles almost making it 3. Big mistake at the back there for Seville, which nearly cost them. Corner coming in from Schneider, though. Schneider into... just goes through everyone. That's so dangerous when that happens. Alex Smith picks it up at the far post. Out to Ross McQuaid, who's not got a yellow card yet, but Geraldinho Bunce does. Interestingly, though, Paolo Bernardo has picked up a knock, which means that Granit Xhaka is going to swap for him in that role. Geraldinho Bunce on a 6.4 rating, but I think that's just because he was at fault for the Seville goal, and we haven't really got anyone to bring up apart from Callum Brennan. So we'll leave him on for now. Let's show him what he can do. The bench is looking a bit light at the moment, I've got to say. We're going to take Guardado off because he's looking nervous, and we'll bring Gauther on, but because of the injuries and suspensions, the bench is looking pretty light at the moment. So there's no real game changers to bring on, unfortunately. But we don't really need a game changer just yet. We just need to settle things down and probably come off attacking and go positive. Although I've done that now, I can guarantee that Sevilla are going to score a goal from this, as They nearly do. Gauther already on a yellow card, literally moments after coming on the pitch. That is solid commitment to the cause from Gauther. I mean, I don't even mind it anymore. I admire it now that our defenders are just so ill-disciplined and always pick up cards. But Alex Smith on the ball on the edge of the area, into Bottles. He grabs the third one, 3-1 up. He's 19th of the season now for Bottles in all competitions. He's really started to pick the pace up a little bit in recent weeks, which is good to see. Hopefully he'll be getting towards that 30-goal mark this season, which will be fantastic. But I've got to say, we've done well in today's game. We've done well. We've done what we needed to do. We're 3-1 up. Fingers crossed we just carry it into the second leg now. Oh, we can concede a goal like that, though. I kind of hoping that it wouldn't go in the back of the net, because I was looking at my phone when the corner was actually taken and then looked up, saw it happening. 3-2. Okay, it brings the deficit down a little bit for them, but at least we still have 3 away goals and we're still in control of the tie as it stands. Although, it's just going to be a highlight for Seville now as Silerson gets it out to his number 4. He puts it up towards Ronnie Lopez. Munir on the ball, racing forward with it, dancing past defenders, left, right and centre. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't actually expect that to happen, but it has done. Well, let's just watch this run. How's he getting past everyone? It's not good enough. Hopefully we can retake the lead though through Capitano coming down the wing. Or they has been tackled. I swear to God, if we concede the 4th goal now, I'm going to be so annoyed. Good tackle. Good tackled Haroldinho. That was good. I think Haroldinho has been at fault for 2 of the goals. I think he was partly at fault for the equaliser there as well as the first one. So not the best introduction to you guys for Haroldinho. Although he's on a 6.7 rating now, so maybe he's not as quite as detrimental to the goals as maybe I've made him out to be. I don't know. Either way, Seville with another chance late on in today's game. Tim Wright, I think, is about to be sent off the pitch. You love to see it, don't you? Well, in that case, temporarily, Capitano can have to switch over there and Patrick Hartman can have a little bit of a cameo on the right wing. We just have to hold on now. Let's go cautious for the final 5 minutes of the game as they nearly score from the free kick. 3-3 is not a bad game. 3-3 isn't a bad result, all right? We've got 3 away goals. That's massive. That is absolutely massive for us going into the second leg. So I think that can be classed as a successful result. So moving forward in today's episode, we've got the Lausanne game coming up in a couple of days' time. And actually, I thought we had a cup game in between this, but no, we don't. So we don't have to do a cup game off camera. When's the cup game? Oh, miles away. Okay, fair play. We've got Lausanne and then Seville. I thought I had to do a cup game off camera, but no, we don't. So, perfect. There is going to be a big rotation, I think, for the Lausanne game, just because we want to be resting our best players to play against Seville. So, rather than me do the rotation, I might just press the button that says full rotation of the squad and then put, like, the goalkeeper back in and things like that. But we want to be keeping the squad fresh. So then, for this Lausanne game, we're going to go to this quick pick thing, and we're going to pick rotated squad, full rotation, which looks pretty good to me. We will take Cruz off the pitch because we want to keep him rested up. Breton's on 6-7% condition. So no, we'll leave Felipe Cruz on, but we'll swap him over later on. Guardado is suspended for the game against Seville next time out, actually, thinking about it. So he can play anyway. We'll save Gauther for that game. Billy Schmitz is injured still, so we'll take Capitano off for Patrick Hartman on that right-hand side. Bernard should be back, I think, for the game next time out, so Tim Wright can stay there. Yeah, that does look good to me. So a very, very different lineup for you, but here we go. Let's see how they get on against Lausanne. So kickoff is upon us against Lausanne, and I genuinely think this is going to be a 0-0 draw now that we've changed the lineup so much. I don't think we're going to really do that much, if I'm honest with you. It's just a case of resting some key players, but also being able to look at some players that we don't normally look at too much, I've got to say. Like, we don't normally play a lot of these players most episodes, and I mean, Lausanne have just scored a goal there, and this is why we don't play most of these players most episodes. Hunter Ball has been unlucky, I've got to say. I mean, he will break into the first team at some point, but he's class. That's what he is. He's a very, very good goalkeeper and things like that. So expect to see him, probably for the remainder of the series, really, I suppose. Hunter Ball being the backup more than anything else, which is a little bit disappointing because, of course, he's a regen and a Patreon player and things like that. So that's a little bit upsetting in some regards, but it's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes as he's made a big error there, and Lausanne have gone 2-0 up against us now. I mean, we're not really offering anything going forward, I don't think, in today's game, which is a shame because we've got Tony Cruz and James Rodriguez on the pitch right now, alongside Tim Wright, of course, who is the wonder kid on that left-hand side. Come on, James Rodriguez, do something clever with it. Out towards Patrick Hartman. Patrick, just beat the first man, lad. Seriously, come on, Patrick Hartman, back into Coley. Brilliant stuff. Is that James Rodriguez who gives the ball away completely there? Obviously, the has-beens aren't. Well, there's a reason why I'm calling them a has-been, because they're just not up to it anymore, clearly. And that's why we don't play them week in, week out. And this, obviously the scoreline shows that. So half-time, 2-0 down. I mean, I didn't quite expect that. I thought we'd battle to a 0-0 draw. I thought we'd be a bit more competitive, if I'm honest with you, than just 3 shots. That's a little bit frustrating, but it's a game we can afford to lose, if I'm honest with you. If it means that we qualify to go into the later stages of the Europa League, it's a game that we can afford to lose, but we can't be doing this too often. We have to maybe think about rotation a little bit more carefully, as Coley bags his 5th goal of the season. Beautiful stuff, that one. That was a fantastic goal, and hopefully more of that in the second half. Alternatively, what we could do is forget to pause the game when I go out the room to go to the toilet, and then it finishes 3-2. I mean, I missed the whole second half pretty much there, because I thought I'd pause the game. I mean, obviously, I didn't, and we've lost it. It's a write-off. We're not too fussed about that, but at least Coley got two goals. We're focusing on the Europa League anyway. We're focusing on the Europa League. That's the real focus, not this. Although we are reduced to 3 points now against Young Boys, and we've lost 3 games this season now. Last season, I think we only lost 2 all season. So already lost more than last season. And we've drawn as many as last season as well. So we're not going to eclipse the 96 points that we got last season. You hate to see it. So if we ignore all that's just happened, we are going to have a very fresh team playing against Seville, because obviously we rested our star players. So we didn't actually see how the other Swiss clubs got on in that first leg. I forgot to do that. So Basel ended up winning 5-0 against Fenerbahce. Good stuff there. And Lausanne got a 1-1 draw away to Southampton. This could be big for Lausanne. They could go through. It's us that's looking the most shaky, I've got to say. As we head to the team selection, injuries and suspensions for some players. But if we just quick pick, because that's the easiest way to get this team back up and going. The midfield looks different for some reason. That's because Schneider is slightly injured. We're going to put him in the squad. We're putting him in the squad, I think. Xhaka is going to swap, and then we'll put Randy Schneider in there. Paolo Bernardo can go on the bench instead. But yeah, that is back to full strength pretty much, with Gauther at left back, I suppose. Maybe not the first choice left back, but that's pretty much full strength. Let's go for it. So then, kickoff is upon us. It's a big game here at Letzigrund. Hopefully, we're going to do enough. And I think we should have enough about ourselves to beat Seville at home here today. We've got the home crowd advantage. I think for the most part of the previous leg, we were the better side, although Seville came back into it pretty strongly at the end. I think we should be winning this one. As Schneider gets out to Alex Smith. Bottles is through behind the defence. Bottles to open the scoring. Can't do it. Oh, come on, boys. I believe in us. I believe in us. As Felipe Cruz's corner put into the middle. Cleared. Okay, Ross McQuaid, though, collecting that loose ball. Felipe Cruz into the middle. Capitano back to Felipe Cruz. Oh, it's cleared. Bernard can't quite get the ball off his counterpart, number 7 there, as their number 11 looking dangerous once again. Sturgiu, who we missed massively, I've got to say. I think we missed him a lot in the first leg. Wins the ball back. The ball is played through to Bottles with another one-on-one. And again, the one-on-one is saved. What I have forgot to do is put Sturgiu back onto ball-playing defender. I think he works just a bit better like that. So that's the tactical change there. Now, obviously, because we've got 3 away goals, as that came very close to going in the back of a net for Seville, we can draw 0-0, we can draw 1-1, we can draw 2-2, and we will still go through into the next round. So as long as we don't lose in today's game, we're pretty good to be going through into the second knockout round, which is good, as Ross McQuaid looking to pick up the slack there, doesn't get the tackle in, unfortunately, loses the player, and the ball into the middle is a good one. And Seville are very good going forward, I've got to say. Should probably get these players scouted out and maybe try and sign 1 or 2 of them over summer, because a few of those attacking players look very, very good. As Traore on the ball right now for Seville, looking to come forward. Great interception there from Xhaka, from Schneider into Bottles, who puts it over the bar. Come on then, Gauther. Into Capitano. Up forward with the ball, into Schneider. Schneider, a great ball to Bernard. What a finish that is. That was a superb worked goal there. That was fantastic, I've got to say. Let's watch this one again on the replay then. So Capitano gets the ball. He gets it. Does he put the ball across? You know, he puts it into Schneider, who puts the ball over to Bernard. What a run. But what a powerful shot that is. 1-0. So as we start to approach the half-time break, I'm speaking far too early there. I was about to say we're approaching half-time break and we're 1-0 up, but obviously we could go 2-0 up now as Bernard on the ball, in towards Alex Smith. Alex Smith, edge of the area, shoot, good save from Sillison. That was nearly 2-0. And another chance for us to come forward before half-time with Felipe Cruz losing possession far too easily there. And Ronnie Lopez, great tackle from Sergio there. That was fantastic. So from the ball up to Matthew Bottles is really good. The third time of asking Bottles, he misses another one-on-one opportunity. Lads, come on. Felipe Cruz into the middle. Nothing. I don't want to rue these opportunities, really. We've had 4 clear-cut chances in today's game now, and only scored one of those chances statistically. So I feel like, we're going to rue that. I feel like Seville will score 2 goals in the 90th minute, and that might just be that sort of thing. We've missed those key opportunities, and Bottles will be the player to blame for it, as here comes Seville towards the end of this first half, looking to try and grab an equaliser. Obviously, an equaliser isn't too bad because we've got the away goals in our favour, but they've put it over again, and maybe they're going to miss the opportunity or rue the opportunity that they've put over the bar. That's been a few of them now. So we now are at half-time, and it is 1-1, or 1-0, sorry. I was looking at the Luzerne-Southampton, which is 1-1, and they've had a man sent off as well, so it's looking very good for Luzerne. Basel are 1-0 up. They are as good as through, pretty much, I would say. So congratulations, Basel. It would be fantastic, I've got to say, if all 3 Swiss sides in the Europa League can go through. We'll check on how is it Lausanne? Yeah, Lausanne, how are they getting on in the Europa Conference League after this game as well, because they're playing at the same time as us right now. In fact, we could... Can we do that up here? No. Oh, we can, maybe. Europa Conference League. We are looking out for... there's a thing going on in the background. Capitano on the ball. To Randy Schneider. Into Alex Smith. Goes to Bernard, who somehow can't score that. Randy Schneider. Capitano. Crossbar. Bernard. Finally, that goes in the back of a net. We are 2-0 up. It's not offside. The assistant manager. What's he called? Linesman. Why is it A? Assistant referee, isn't it? That's what it is. He runs up. It's a goal anyway. Jerome Bernard with his 12th of the season. So many times we should have scored that. We finally do get it in the back of the net. 2-0 up. Where are they then? Lausanne are 2-1 up against Freiburg right now, which means that they are 3-3 on aggregate. So that will go to penalties as it stands right now, I think, because obviously the other leg was 2-1 as well. It's all very exciting for Swiss clubs. All really exciting for Swiss clubs. So hopefully we're going to see... hopefully all 4 of us get through. That would be fantastic if all 4 of us manage to go through. I'm looking out for them still. Lausanne, it's still 3-3 there. Still 3-3. Come on. We've now got a chance to score a 3rd goal as Alex Smith makes a crucial interception there. Shot not so good though. So we are into the final 10 minutes of the game now. And the clock's ticking down. Final 5 minutes. I think we are pretty much guaranteed to be going through now. Lausanne have not equalised. Been a red card for someone there, for Freiburg. So that's very helpful for Lausanne as they probably go into extra time, I think. That's what's going to happen there. As Bottles, will he finally score a goal as he weaves past the defenders, gets it off to Schneider, who makes it 3-0. What a great time to come back onto the highlights. Bottles may have not got a goal today, but he's done very, very well in his possessional play, I've got to say. A great assist there for Bottles. Fantastic stuff. As we wrap up a superb victory over Seville, 3-0. We are through to the second knockout round. So, in the end, a 2-2 draw for Basel and Fenerbahce, but obviously Basel go through. We go through against Seville, and then Luzerne end up beating Southampton 1-0 on the night, so they go through as winners there, winning 2-1 on aggregate. How did Lausanne get on? They won 3-1 in extra time against Freiburg. They are also going through into the second knockout round for the Europa Conference League, so 4 Swiss clubs still in European competitions. We've been given £430,000 for winning the first knockout round. As context, you get nearly £800,000 for drawing a Champions League group stage match, so that's pretty mental, isn't it? The amount of money we're going to be receiving from prize money from the Europa League is a lot lower than the Champions League. It just shows how important the Champions League is. In fact, Didn't we lose the first knockout round last season of the Champions League and we got £8 million for losing it? That just shows how mental the disparity in money is. So the draw can't be too far. In fact, it's here, the draw. Fantastic stuff. So 16 teams go into it with teams as varied as Arsenal, Porto, Lausanne and Basel. Okay then. So I think we can come up against anyone. So ideally, we kind of want to come up against the Lausanne to make sure we try and go as far as possible in this competition. But we'll take anyone because I think we can beat anyone in this competition. So, as the draw keeps going, Basel have got Wolfsburg. That's going to be tough. Lausanne have got Valencia, which is going to be even tougher. Celtic have got Monaco. Grasshoppers then. There's very difficult sides left in this. Hopefully it's Lille. It's Lazio. Okay, that's going to be a tough game. A very tough game. But if we want to win this competition, we've got to be beating the best sides in this competition, and Lazio is certainly one of those. So naturally, the next episode is going to be Lazio, and quite handily, the game in between the two Lazio games is Young Boys. So that's going to be quite exciting too. So those 3 games coming up for you next episode. So despite the blip against Lausanne there, where we lost 3-2 with a very rotated lineup, we had a fantastic episode, I think, in my opinion, going through into the next round of the Europa League. So join me next time for the second round against Lazio. But until then, have a wonderful weekend. That episode's going to come on Monday, by the way. I've just realised that no episode tomorrow because I'm busy. Next episode will be out on Monday, just to let you know. So don't expect a video tomorrow. But until Monday, have a great one. See you then.